My name is Jo.
Come take a ride with me, Dush.
So from our kitchen to yours, easy dishes that can be made very quickly.
In that they're completely rustic, also so pleasing, and extremely indulgent.
We hope you enjoy.
Today we're gonna try our hand at a bit of a confused dish. It's not really Italian, it's not really Mughal, it's not really Sri Lankan, it's an amalgamation of all three, and it works, I think, brilliantly well. It's a mutton korma lasagna. So first you need about half a kilo of mutton. I mean, if mutton's really not your thing, you can substitute it with beef or ground chicken or whatever it is that you like. Next, we're gonna add a handful of fresh mint, roughly chopped. I'll just throw it in the bowl. And don't worry about it if they're quite big, because it's all gonna cook down. So don't worry about it. And probably even a slightly larger handful of cilantro. There's gonna be a lot of cilantro in this dish. Because when all the flavors come together, it just helps everything harmonize, really. So don't omit this. A few more ingredients though. We do need curry powders, our local curry powders, both roasted and unroasted. And this is why I said it's a little bit Sri Lankan, and there's really no shame in adopting other dishes and making them our own, right? Pretty much going through my entire spice rack here. So a little bit of turmeric, and I came across some paprika, so that's gonna go in there too. Sugar, as I do with everything. Not too much. And salt. And we're gonna give it a good mix. And don't worry if it looks really leafy. Like I said, everything cooks down. It's gonna be a really flavorsome meat dish, and you're not going to see all of this green once it's done. What we need to do with this now is go ahead and start frying it up, which is my preferred weapon of choice for this one. Start it up. And you don't need to add a lot of oil in this because mutton is very, very fatty. And the fats from the meat itself will start to seep out as it cooks. But I'll tell you what we're going to do with that in a bit. So fry it up and make sure it doesn't clump together, because you want the mince to kind of stand apart as it is. Because you want this to be spreadable, right? When you layer your lasagna, you're going to let the meat nicely brown. Let the oil seep out, and now the game changer is going to happen. And this is what's going to take this meat to the next level and really take it back to its Mughal roots. Curd. And ideally use a cow's milk curd as opposed to a buffalo milk curd, because buffalo milk tends to be just a little tad too sour for this, in my opinion. I mean, you can do it if you want to, there's no problem. You can see this is becoming really nice and moist. Well, technically it's very wet at this point. We're gonna cook it until most of this is evaporated, and we're gonna add maybe a tablespoon of flour to help it along, to have all the juices bind to the meat. When bits of this start sticking to the pan, you're very, very close to wanting to stop, but it's not there quite just yet. And as you can see, the flour has definitely helped. This is, yeah, I think we're done. Just like that. So we leave this to rest for a little bit, and it will dry out a bit more as it stands. And then we're going to go to the next step of our lasagna, which is, of course, the cheese sauce, the Mornay. Traditionally, it's a bechamel. A Mornay is a bechamel with cheese added into it. So traditionally Gruyere, but we're doing a poor man's version. So don't judge, because it's still delicious. Right, so we're gonna get on with the Mornay. So set your flame to about a medium high, and in goes your butter, the entire tub. So that's about 200 grams. Okay. And we need equal parts flour. So I think that's about a cup. Okay, make sure it's not too much heat, because you're not looking to burn this. And I'm going to do something a little unconventional here. I'm going to add 2 chicken stock cubes. Still lumpy. Now you can see it's coming to a much smoother texture. It's lost all the clumpiness that you saw before, and it's almost the texture of really silky mashed potato. And here on now, it's going to start thinning out. So pay attention, because you don't want this too runny, but you don't want it extremely thick either. And keep in mind that once you take the sauce off the stove, it will thicken on standing. So it's a fine balance of knowing when to pull it out, where it's still liquidy enough that you can spread it. So we're going to make a few more tweaks to this right here. And this is where it really starts to deviate from a traditional bechamel. First, we're going to add some turmeric, and it tricks us into believing that there's a ton of cheese, and also it's very, very good for you. And again, this is one of the Sri Lankan elements that I was talking about. And let's take it another step and make it more Sri Lankan by adding some chili powder into this. It's still lumpy, but the cheese is going to melt. And while it does, here comes another interesting twist. We're going to load this up with cilantro, which also went into the meat. So we are kind of tying elements together across the different layers and let it cook down. And don't worry too much if the greens don't cook down completely as you'd like. It's all going to be good. So this is about the thickness we were looking for, because this is spreadable on our lasagna sheets. We have one more element that I have as a surprise for you. And this reminds me of the little shots of garlic you get when you have, these bites that you get in the supermarket in little packets. So here comes the garlic. I'm testing out one little nib in there, and it looks like the oil is just right. So not my favorite part, I have to be honest. But we're gonna fry these well past the point of golden. They're almost going to be borderline charred, but not, right? And you will see what I'm talking about when I fish these out. It's getting there, as you can see. Right, so here we are. Don't push it any further, because your garlic starts to get bitter. So right about now is where you'd pull them out. Right, so the next step is garlic gets dumped in the meat. And you just give it a good stir. And there we have our meat filling for our lasagna. Cheese sauce is done. We begin to layer our lasagna. I think I've done enough work here getting all these elements together, so I'm just gonna be lazy and just use store-bought lasagna sheets. So we're gonna first start with a layer of the meat and use a fork to kind of spread it thin. You want it as thin as possible, to be honest. Anytime you have a meat layer, the next one is going to be a lasagna sheet. Press it down. Oh, that fit perfectly. And on top, has to be your cheese sauce, because this is what's going to cook your lasagna sheet. Now we're putting them in completely dehydrated. We're not attempting to boil the lasagna sheets or anything like that. The sauce is going to cook it through. So it's very important that you cover every corner of each sheet. We're going to do the same thing here now. Meat, sheet, cheese. You don't want the meat and the cheese to get mixed up. You want them to be distinct layers. So be a little bit gentle here. Pasta sheets. And now here's, as we move up, you see this dish starts to get wider. So we need to fill in the empty spaces, like so, without overlapping the sheets. Because what happens then, again, the sheets don't cook. There you go. It doesn't need to be perfect. We're on our last layer. This layer can be a little bit heavier than the rest, because that's going to be a top coat. Spread around. That's it, folks. This is ready to hit the oven. And that's at 180 degrees for about 40 minutes, and then we're just going to pull it out. And how about, I think, a nice big slice. Look at that. There we go. There's our slice of lasagna. The mutton is so full-bodied with the garlic and everything coming through, but the cheese just mellows and binds everything together. And the pasta sheets are perfectly cooked. Like, you almost wouldn't know the difference if it was freshly made. And let's try a bit of this salad. Superb. Complements lasagna beautifully. Almost cleanses your palate for the next bite. And if you just keep going back and forth between the two, you could probably just go on forever.
Hi everyone, here we are at Homemade again. I'm Jo, welcome to my kitchen. Today for a change, we'll be making something sweet. So everyone likes peaches and cream. We live in a tropical country, peaches and cream. What's bad about that? Mix up the biscuits and we'll get started. Add the rest of the biscuits as well. Just process this for about a minute. Scrape the edges off, and if everything is blitzed properly, and add your butter. That's the consistency you're looking for. Grab a spatula and turn that over onto the dish that you're making this in. Spread it over the dish, all the edges, so that you have a nice biscuit base. This is just to add an extra layer of texture to your food. And that's what you're left with. The next element of this dish is cream cheese. This is just 400 grams of regular cream cheese, which I'm just going to cream together with electric hand mixer so that it's smooth. To this, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of powdered sugar. Mix again until everything is combined. Just about 30 seconds of mixing would do. This is the consistency you're looking for. This layer goes on top of our biscuit mixture. So that is a cheesecake base. To this, I'm going to add a couple of elements that will turn this into a peaches and cream with a twist. I have here 250 grams of strawberries that I've cut into small pieces. I've left 5 strawberries in full so that we can garnish our dish later. I'm just going to roughly pour this on, spread that over. The acidity of the strawberries actually will cut through this dish very well. Grab a fresh mixing bowl and your cream. This is double cream and we're using about 1.5 cups. I'm just going to pour this in. So we're just going to beat our cream until it forms just a stiff peak, just for a minute or 2. The trick when you're beating cream is to use a very clean glass bowl, no plastic. To make your cream even better, you can just wipe your dish with a slice of lime. To this, I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of powdered sugar. Yeah. And combine it together. Grab your dessert and just pour this cream over. See how gorgeous it is. Fill in all those gaps. Get the edges as well. Right, here I have some sliced canned peaches. Chill this in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours. Don't forget your strawberries. So this is the final dish, as you can see. Make sure you get all the layers. It's good, very good. I hope you try it and I hope you enjoy it.